All right, the five topics that I picked that I felt like I needed to work on a little bit was conflict resolution, perseverance, adjusting to change, learning new technology, and working with diverse populations. So, conflict resolution. I am a fairly diplomatic person by nature. I don't enjoy conflict of any kind, and so I tend to avoid it. So I'm pretty diplomatic to begin with. But recently I had a customer that was very unhappy with the product that he received from me, and sometimes, so it was a sitemap consultation with a sitemap, and the sitemap was a little bit blurry, and the program that I use can sometimes be blurry, and so I kind of explained that to him, and told him that I would see what I could do, and contact him back in 2 days. So I tried to figure out if there was a way that I could resolve the issue, and there wasn't. So I took the sitemap and I divided it up into zones, and I went through plant by plant and did a description, a name and description of each plant. And when I sent that back to him and with all that information, he was thrilled. He's not from around here, he's from Georgia, and so he wasn't familiar with any of the plants. He was thrilled with the landscape plan, and was ready to get started on it right away. And so he's actually maintained contact with me, continuing to ask questions. And so conflict resolved, turned out positive. Perseverance, probably one of the best examples of perseverance that I have. I wouldn't have to look very far. That would be this semester. This semester has been a much bigger challenge than I had anticipated. I had anticipated for whatever reason, I had anticipated an easy course load, so that I could take care of some other responsibilities, and I accepted a lot of responsibilities this semester, simultaneous to my course load. So some of those responsibilities, in addition to graduate courses and internship, I also accepted a position as an executive secretary for my church. It's a volunteer position. It takes quite a few hours a week, and then I'm on the board of directors for the Arizona Rare Fruit Growers Association. I'm also receiving training through another nonprofit food system organization. I'm currently running a fairly labor-intensive business while I'm trying to heal from back injury and a digestive disorder and hernia. And all of this has resulted in me burning the candle on both ends, and usually at least once a week I'll pull all-nighters, sometimes twice a week. And many nights a week I'm up till the wee hours of the morning. I'm trying to provide, emotional and physical support for my pregnant wife and 3 kids. And so it has been pretty challenging. And ultimately I had to make a decision as the semester began, and I realized what my load was as it started to hit me. Okay, this is a lot more than what I thought I bit off. I had to make a conscious decision, and the decision that I made was that I could do anything for a semester. So here I am, semester almost over, and I am almost through it. So burdens will be behind me very soon. So adjusting to change. From the spring of 2009 to the spring of 2011, I served a dynamic proselyting mission for my church in Oregon. During this time, we had to move about every 4.5 months, a little less, a little more, depending on the area. And that was extremely difficult. It was very difficult to get used to a brand new area. We were constantly relying on the maps and the GPS to try and find our way around and meet brand new people that we didn't know. In fact, several times we got transferred into areas not knowing anybody. We didn't even know our companions, missionary companions, because we serve in companionships. And so the first area that I served in was very high energy dynamic. It was a college town. It was a strong liberal presence in the inner city and strong conservative values-based presence out in the outskirts, in the rural areas, and I learned to love them both. But anyway, from there I moved to a high mountain area, and where a lot of people just go to hide. There was major drug problems there, and we got, a lot of people didn't like us there. We ended up at gunpoint several times, and I learned a lot about myself in that area, and I analyzed why I was there. Why was I making the sacrifice I was making? Why was I spending 2 years worth of living expenses, devoting my time and my everything to serve these people, who a lot of them didn't like me. And so there was a lot of change. It was constant change, constant change, constant change. Every few weeks, every day we went outside, it was constant change. And I learned to love people very quickly. I learned to communicate with people very to the point. And I lost a little bit of that. I tend to ramble. But I learned a lot about myself. And I overcame a lot of challenges when it comes to change. I enjoy change now. But learning new technology. Technology's never been a strong point, largely because I've avoided it for so long. When I finally decided that the world was heading into a completely digital age, I had a lot of catching up to do. And so I... when I began work for Agriscaping Technologies as a consulting technician paid by commission, I had to learn a brand new design program for iPad, and there was a big learning curve. Ultimately, in the end, though, I mastered it. I perfected it so well that the other consultants on my team were having a hard time keeping up with the quality designs that I was providing, and the company ended up having to revamp their entire program because what I was providing the customers was almost serving as a combined product between their initial consultation and their full design. And so they had to revamp the entire program because I'd gotten so good at the program that we were using that a lot of these customers didn't end up needing the full design because they were satisfied with the sketch design that they got from me. So it takes me a little while to learn a program, but once I got it, I got it. I learned it very well. Working with diverse populations. In my capstone course, I had an opportunity to meet many residents of the neighborhood. We were working in diverse demographics, and I discovered that I had a knack for finding culturally significant ways to connect with residents and help them feel loved. We had one resident who was from the Philippines, and when I first met her, I went home and I did a bunch of research on plants and food in the Philippines, and I discovered that they grow jackfruit in the Philippines, which is a really cool. It's the largest fruit in the world, and so I went down to the local Asian market and I bought one and I took it to her, and she was absolutely thrilled, and we had a strong relationship ever since then, a good strong friendship, and I was able to do similar things for a lot of the other residents that I was able to make these cultural connections and things that were important to them. And so working with diverse populations, I feel like I've discovered is one of my gifts, and I really enjoy meeting new people and learning from them. So those are my 5 topics.